Hello, welcome to, I think, is this episode 40? No, I don't remember. I may take this out because I don't remember. Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast, welcome to my vlog. Welcome to my channel. So many words that, people use them the wrong way and blah, 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 blah. The pink on my shawl is totally blowing out the camera and it's making all the other colors look dull. I really love this shawl though. This is the Dotted Rays by Stephen West. Oh, I haven't told you who I am. My name is Shannon Bellum. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Bellum Make. There's an underscore between Bellum and Make for Instagram, and on Ravelry it's all one word. Those will be down below in the description box. But yeah, I am a university professor who knits and does knit design. I'm a former 7th Avenue knitwear designer, and been a university professor for the last since 2000. Yeah, 2000. So welcome to my podcast. This is going to be a podcast about knitting and a little bit about Christmas and the like. So besides what I'm wearing, which this is, wait, let me take it off to show you because I don't think I've shown this on the podcast for quite a while. This is the Dotted Rays shawl by Stephen West. And I did sort of a weird contrasty fade thing, and I affectionately call this my watermelon shawl. But it's the closest thing to Christmas colors that I have, so that's why you're getting it right now. Well, yeah. And I'm wearing a shop bought, an old shop bought cashmere sweater. Can't even remember when I got it. I might have still been in the garment industry. It was a long time ago. And it has a little hole in an unfortunate spot. So, but I'm wearing a tank top, so it should be fine. Yeah, so guess what? I finished my Christmas sweater. I really am happy. It's not blocked yet. I have to block it. I literally just finished stitching the last row, the cast off row on the second sleeve about maybe 20 minutes ago. But I am so happy. I did not think I was going to finish today. I thought I had too much to do, too many other things to do for the holidays and stuff. And yeah, so I'm gonna block it. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that it's gonna dry overnight, and then I'm gonna wear it for the next 3 days because today's December 22nd. But yeah, anyway, let me take you through what the pattern is, what the yarns are, and why I did what I did. Also, the color is way off, so I wonder, I'm gonna try putting this away and see, does that make the colors? Yeah, I'm not really seeing that the colors are better on the monitor, so back on you go. Dotted Rays, watermelon, Christmas shawl, back on you go. Okay, I'm going to show you close-ups of the yarn so you can really get a feel on the color. So first, let me tell you about the pattern. The pattern, if you're a returning viewer, you're gonna know. I talked about it last week, or 2 weeks ago when I last podcast. The pattern is the tree yoke sweater. I got it on Ravelry. It comes in one size. It's to fit a 42 to 45 inch around. So that's the, yeah, currently one size. This pattern, the story of this pattern and designer, the designer is 16 years old. And she made this pattern. This is the third jumper she said she's designed and hand knit, but the first pattern she ever wrote out and the first that she sold. So her name is Lissy Lulu on, I'll have it all in my show notes. Her name is Lissy. She's on Instagram, alyssa.margaret, and Lissy Lulu on Ravelry. Her full name is Alyssa Malcolmson. So yeah, she's born and raised in Shetland, and she made the pattern for Shetland Wool Week. And yeah, you're a little crooked there, so I'm just gonna straighten you out. So yeah, that is the story of the pattern. She wrote the pattern. If you go onto Ravelry and to her project page, or to her design page, you'll see that this is just 2 colors. It was gold down here and gray, like a gray white up here. And then there's little bird's eye dots of the white all through the sweater. I didn't do the dots on mine, and I also incorporated a 3rd sweater. So I rewrote the color work slightly to do 3 colors. So I have a gray here, a multicolor red, which you can see probably more the multicolor here, and then this really soft green that's very highly speckled with dark green and shots of lavender and stuff. So I did a little finessing on the color work to get this way, and then on the sleeves I decided to stripe them instead of doing them solid green. I was either going to do solid green and then do like a little pattern down here and then repeat the pattern on this cuff, right above the cuff here, but I went through the motions. I started to get this idea that maybe a striped sleeve would be good. So these are kind of really rough, rustic sketches, but so that would have been like the way to do it, right? With just a little bit of patterning, those red trees. But then I started to think maybe a striped sleeve would be nice. So I started to play around with different ways to stripe all 3 colors. So that was one. And that was another way. I don't have the one that I thought I was going to go with. Oh yeah, here it is. And then that was the way that I thought I was going to do, how I thought I was going to go for a while. And then I happened upon, I started to think maybe I should just do the red and gray, like a candy cane. So this is actually what I ended up going with. This right here. Oh yeah, that's what you see. I can't wait to block it because I'm pretty sure it's gonna grow a little bit, and this is all gonna straighten out, and I think the sleeves are gonna grow quite a lot as well. Even though it fits me just fine this way, like the sleeves are long enough. They look kind of short, but I think it's just kind of the way everything else is sitting on the form right now. This up here. I thought the sleeves were a little bit big, and you can actually see the tightness of the color work. You can see that little bulge right there. You see it when I hold that up. But I also just thought this dimension was a little bit long. If I were to do this pattern again, I would modify that so that there are fewer stitches in the area for the sleeve. Like I just felt like that was really big. So I shrunk the sleeve. I did my own style of sleeve decreasing. I didn't follow the pattern at that point because I just really wanted the sleeve to go down and become as narrow as possible. So you can kind of get it, yeah. There's a little bit of an awkward bulge right there because I did every 5th row and then I did every 3rd row until I got down to the number of stitches for the that were necessary for the cuff, and I made a little bit smaller stitch count for the cuff as well, like stitch count around. Also, I used up all the gray yarn to the point where I had to I may have to take this sweater off of Martha so you can see it up close, but I had to use a little bit of a scrap bag gray here, like this last inch. You can vaguely see the line from where you are over there. You can kind of see it, right? Like right in the center, there's a line where the gray is changing colors very, very slightly. But it'll pass the galloping horse test. So if it passes the galloping horse test, I am happy and good with it. So yarn. I don't think I have the green actually in here, and I have none left of the gray. I don't know what I did with the yarn. Where's the yarn? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna take it off Martha so you can see it well. Right. let's start at the top and work our way down. So that gorgeous tonal gray, that is Stranded Dyeworks First Frost in her BFL base. So it's from last year when she first started to do BFL, and she was doing her Christmas colors, so I had bought it last year. This beautiful jewelry toned multicolor red. I'm calling it my red, but there you can see there's so much more to it than the red. There's green, there's blue. It's just gorgeous. That color is from Lavender Lune Yarn Company in the colorway Holidrama, which she made last year. This is all these yarns I bought last year. She made for December 2017. I don't know if she made it this year. I really haven't been shopping for indie dyed yarns very frequently because I have a pretty decent sized stash right behind me. And the whole reason that I did this Christmas sweater was because I wanted to join a Kristy Glass Christmas sweater cal. And I made a deal with myself. I said, okay, you can join the cal if you can find a pattern that you like, whether you have to recolor it or whatever in Christmas colors, and you have yarn in your stash. So I accomplished both of those. So I used all yarn, all stash yarn. This beautiful green, there it is. That's the real color right there. It's not in focus, but you are seeing the color. I hope it'll focus in a minute. Come on, babe. Yeah, there it is. So you can see the sort of muted purple in there and the deeper tones of green, and it's so, so pretty. It's just, oh, so good. That is a twisted Fintch yarn, another indie dyer in the UK, who, and this is a one-of-a-kind color. And that, fun fact, the green is actually a non-superwash. So the Holidrama is a 75-25 sock weight, fingering weight. The gray is BFL nylon, and then this is, the green is 100% superwash merino, or non-superwash merino. So yeah, I am excited. Did not think this would get done, but I am so happy with it. I might just wear it every day until New Year's. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I should probably put it back on her, but maybe that's okay. Yeah. If it falls, I'll put it back on her. So, so yeah, that's my finished object that I'm so happy about. And that sweater for the last 2 weeks has consumed almost every bit of my knitting time. The only other thing that I have to show for my knitting time, I know I'm starting to get hot, is this right here. This is the 6th wavy leg hat that I am making, and I am using this beautiful tonal red with speckles of gray and deep purple in it. I think this is DK. Wait, I'm gonna look at the thing. Yeah, this is DK. This is from the yarn company, the indie dyer Once Upon a Corgi. She's located in Connecticut, and I bought the yarn from the Knitting Garage in Rhinebeck this past November when I was driving home from seeing my mother. So, oh, you can even see the price there. So it's the Issac DK, a non-superwash Polworth blend, 85% with 15% silk. It's a really big skein. I'm planning to make this exactly the same as I did the others, with a 96 stitch count around and a slouchy, like a 3-inch rib, so that it could be worn slouchy, or you can roll the brim up. This is a Christmas present for one of my sons, and yeah. So this will now move to the foreground of my knitting time, so I probably will finish this pretty quickly. He's coming tomorrow, so I would like to have it done before he gets here, just so that I don't have to be a sneaky knitter. And then I will happily return to WIPs, works in progress, that have been languishing, not only because of this sweater, but just because of life and I think I have, I was looking at my Ravelry page, and I think I have 6 languishing whips right now. So I am going to, there's one I'm not anxious to get done because I perceive it as it's a pastel color with a bright color. I perceive it as more of a spring summer knit. So I'm not anxious to get that done. So that'll be the lowest on the burner. But I have a couple others that I would like to just push through. I have a shawl, I've got my booty shorts, and I've got a DK weight sweater on the needles. I have a shawl design, also probably not going to push through that. I think I'm just going to do easy, no-brainer, mindless knits. I have a DK weight shawl in a project bag ready for me to cast on. It's all caked. I've got the pattern printed. I have a fingering weight sweater ready for me to cast on. Same thing, patterns purchased, printed, yarn is caked and ready for me to just move on it. After doing this fingering weight one, I'm not looking to jump right into another fingering weight one. I'm saying that now, but also that one's color work as well, and it's pretty complex color work. It's not something that I think I can snooze through. So I'm gonna try to do a few that I can, for over the next few days anyway, until Christmas is over, because I just wanna use knitting to decompress. And I don't often find like complicated patterns very effective for decompressing. So that's the plan, folks. That is my plan. This episode won't be too long because of this taking such a long time and everything else that I have. It's also evening, so my lighting is a little weird. I will try to tweak it in the editing, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be successful in getting this to the right color. But I showed you it. You got to see it up close. But now I'm just gonna show you some new stash, and I'm gonna talk to you about some new. I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about. It's still quite small. This podcast, this vlog, this episode. This episode's still quite small. I think I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my thoughts on superwash, not superwash yarns, because I've sort of been teasing about it, but I haven't really, I don't think I've really articulated to you how I'm feeling about superwash, non-superwash, because I'm sort of in the process of forming some opinions, and I'm not going to say these are absolute yet, because I like to think like everything's mutable, right? I like to think the world is mutable and there are shades of gray, and it's not necessarily this or that. It's like there are these things to consider, and maybe you've already reached your own conclusions. But so let me go through my stash, and as I go through my stash, I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Okay. So if you've been watching my Vlogmas, and no pressure to watch them, I know we're all really busy. This is Christmas time or holiday time, end of the year crunch time. Some of these you'll have already recognized, but I went to a mYak pop-up shop in New York City a couple weeks ago, and I purchased 2 skeins of yarn with the idea that I would probably use them to make a colorwork hat. So these are, I believe they're both worsted weight. Let's see if it says. Not really. DK. This, I would say this is DK. This one, yeah, I think this is DK as well. They're both 100% yak yarn. I don't even actually know how good of a hat they'll make. It might be a better cowl. Or could give it away to a viewer. Thinking about doing that. I may do a giveaway with this. But I just thought these two went really nicely together. They're both very pretty. This one is called Cloud. This one's called Cloud. And this one is called, oh, this is Midnight Blue. So that's actually a navy. If it's hard for me to see in the light that I'm in too. Yeah, I think I matched them at the store. This is navy in there as well, so they do go together. It'll be really pretty. I'm just a little concerned about 100% yak yarn. If it will hold, if it'll be resilient enough to hold its shape for a hat. So I'm not really sure that's the right thing for this. And they're beautiful. They feel so supple and soft. I do really like them. It's evening, so I'm having a beer. I'm trying to get, trying to stretch myself because I'm really hungry. I find having a beer, any kind of alcohol, kind of kills my appetite. So I just wanted to take the edge off my hunger, because after this, I'm blocking this guy, and then I'm going downstairs to make dinner. So it's getting there. It's getting to that time. Okay. The next piece that I got, this skein is from Life in the Long Grass. She is an Irish dyer in Ireland. This is an alpaca wool fingering weight yarn. It is so sumptuous and soft. This is a special yarn. It's from her club called Laneway, and the Laneway club is non-superwash based yarns that are dyed using natural materials that she finds in her laneway. So if you're not familiar with the term laneway, I asked my Irish brother-in-law what it meant, and he said it's sort of similar to driveway, only it's quite long. It's much longer than what a normal driveway, like in a house in the suburbs here in the States, would have. So it's like the road that leads to your smaller driveway, I guess. So this is dyed with blackberry and lac, L-A-C, and lac is a scale bug that is found on plants, but apparently used for dyes, apparently. And it's this gorgeous, gorgeous, soft purpley pink. It's just beautiful. I really, really love it. So this is the first of the Laneway club that she's doing. I'm supposed to be getting another skein soon. I assume it's coming next week sometime. And each time I believe we're getting different bases. So I may regret not having more than one. But I'm also pretty skillful at taking skeins and mixing them. Skeins of different fibers and mixing them. So I decided with this club I'm going to wait till I get all 3 skeins, and then I'm going to see if in fact they could be used together or how they look together and stuff. Because I have a feeling, if you know this dyer, she does pretty soft colors. So she does moody soft colors. So I have a feeling I'm going to get also natural dyed colors. They don't get the acid tones. This is literally an acid dye. Maybe that's where the term acid came from, acid tones. They don't get the bright acid tones that you get in when you use natural dyes. So yeah, so I wanted to share that with you. I'm super excited about that. I am excited to see, so I have a feeling that non-superwash yarns and maybe even natural dyes, I'm like more interested in the non-superwash yarns. Is sort of a new frontier, or like it's been explored, of course. There are dyers that only do non-superwash, and there are dyers and only natural dyes, and some people do both non-superwash and natural dyes. So it's not as if it hasn't been explored, but it's not the norm. So the norm is that we find superwash and acid dyes, right? So that's what the market has had over the past several years. Like that's been like the big emerging market, these bright colors, this like versatile color palette. And I think we're heading towards, like, I think knitters are becoming more interested in non-superwash, because what happens with superwash is that basically the yarn is being coated with a material that detracts a little bit from what wool does. So the thing that I really like about woolly wools, about wools that are non-superwash, is that they have resiliency. Like, so this is non-superwash. So the traits of wool as a fiber, it's breathable, it's got high resiliency. So if resiliency means you pull the fiber straight, let it go, and it goes back. How quick and how much does it go back to its original crimp or kink or curl. So wool is a very resilient fiber, but superwash wool, not so resilient. So I'm coming to the conclusion that for me, fingering weight non-superwash is okay. It's okay to use. It's beautiful in shawls. I don't know if I would use anything else in shawls. Well, I would use other things in shawls. I would use alpaca in shawls. Alpaca is not very resilient, so it has a tendency to stretch. Like if you stretch it, it stays stretched. Knitting, though, is introducing more resiliency into the fiber. So you're getting the resiliency from the knitted fabric in an alpaca or a non-super, or in a superwash or something. Like even cotton. Cotton doesn't have much resiliency either. It's the main reason why I don't really like knitting with cotton. I have not knit with cotton in years. I only knit with wool, pretty much, or the more woolly wools. Like, of course, I've knit with alpaca over this year. But so knitting does add some resiliency of its own. That's why knitted wool is such a nice combo, because you're taking a resilient fiber and you're knitting it, you're making it into a resilient fabric, right? You follow? So yeah, I am coming to the conclusion that not superwash fingering weight sweaters work for me, but heavier than finger weight, the superwash fibers are not working for me. Because what happens when the yarn gets thicker is that the resiliency becomes less anyway, even in 100% wool. So just because there's more fibers and they're coiled around each other, and it tends to just, and when you're knitting it on bigger needles, which makes it less resilient. It just doesn't work for me. Like, that combination isn't working for me. I have a couple sweaters that I've knit out of superwash. I have one from GarnStories, which you may know about. It's one of my own designs. It's I can pop a picture on screen here. It is the, name went out of my head, but I'll pop that on screen too. It's this cardigan right here, Uncle Vanya's cardigan. That I knit out of GarnStories DK. GarnStories DK is a plump DK, so it's very round. The twist, there's a lot of twisting going on. It's 5+ fibers, I think, depending on what lots she gets from the mill. It's anywhere from 5 to 8 strands coiled around, which makes a plump round fiber. A plump round fiber is going to have more resiliency when you pull it and let it go back than one that's 2-ply or 3-ply. More plies, the more round, the more twist, the more round the fiber is, the more resiliency it has, because also as they're doing the twist, as they're spinning the yarn, they're also adding resiliency. So there's all of these processes that add resiliency to fibers in general. But at the end of the day, when you're relying on the microcosmic composition of the fiber, you may or may not be getting the resiliency you expect or want. So the GarnStories cardigan is working just fine for me. It's a DK weight. There's enough of a twist and enough of a plumpness to that DK that it's fine. I wouldn't say it's good, it's awesome, but it's fine. It works. It's okay. The other one I have, the other DK weight sweater that I've made most recently out of superwash, is my Rocane sweater, and that thing is stretched. Like, it's already stretching. I've worn it a couple times. The neck seems bigger. It's growing. I'm getting baggy elbows. It just isn't. Yeah, I'm not really crazy about it. It's a big sloppy sweater. It's kind of a sloppy sweater design anyway, and well, you know, it's fine for the weekends and stuff, but what I really don't like is when the neck gets too open. So the neck is stretching out a bit, so I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not going to do anything about that, but I am going to be mindful. I'm trying to be more mindful of the thicker yarns that I am purchasing. And I'm looking more for non-superwash when I'm purchasing thicker yarn. So if I'm purchasing DK weight or higher, bigger, fatter, I want them to be non-superwash. Having said that though, I do have one sweater's quantity of Aran weight yarn from the Indie Dyer Stranded Dyeworks, Amy of Stranded Dyeworks, and which is the same as this gray. And I'm going to be making a cardigan out of it, and I'm gonna be paying attention to how it wears. So that's one of the things that I hope to get on my needles early on in the new year. I would actually love to wear it to Vogue Knitting Live. I'm planning to make the Winterfell cardigan. I can't remember the designer. Petite Knits? No, I don't know. I'll put it on screen. Too many things going on in my head right now. It's almost Christmas. It's almost Christmas. All right, a few more really cool, fun stash acquisitions. I also picked up a surprise pack. Speaking of GarnStories, one of my favorite indie dyers. That's her label. I picked up a surprise trio of fingering weight yarns from GarnStories in her most recent sale. So every once in a while she will do what she will give away what she calls surprise packages, and I think this time around you were able to select surprise, and then in the drop down menu you could pick what weight you wanted. So it was either fingering or DK, I believe, and I don't collect because sorry, hair in my mouth. Because I don't collect, no, reverse, back up. Because I don't really like what happens to with superwash thick weight yarns, I am avoiding collecting anything less than a sweater's quantity in DK weight or higher. So I always try to go for a sweater's quantity whenever I'm buying a bigger weight. But I do collect single skeins of fingering weight because they make gorgeous shawls and fingering weight sweaters and just fingering weight accessories. So all three of these are non-superwash, or sorry, are superwash. You'll forgive me if I'm a little addled. And they are gorgeous. So I had no idea what colors I was getting. I just selected surprise pack. I knew it was 3 skeins. And I said this on my Vlogmas, so Vlogmas viewers, sorry, this is going to be a bit of a repeat. This is a beautiful tonal black and gray skein that will just go with anything and everything. And fun fact, the cubby that is my grays and blacks is the most empty, so I really don't have a lot of, I don't have anything exactly like this in my stash. So I'm super excited about that. Then this gorgeous baby, ooh, this is so pretty, so pretty, right up my alley in terms of its colors. It's got this soft aqua base, which I think you're seeing there. Very soft, barely there aqua, with a lot of fuchsia speckles, some gold speckles, black speckles, purple speckles, blue speckles. Beautiful. Look at that gold right there. Wow. So this is gorgeous. This is the color Cosmique, and I know I have another skein of, I had another skein of Cosmique. I don't know if I've used it. I think it might be in my, I may have grouped it with the yarns that I'm planning to knit my next go-to raglan in. Out of. But yeah, this is completely different. The old Cosmique that I had is sort of a pale denim-y blue, like a more indigo colored blue with red, and not nearly as highly speckled as this, or as highly variegated as that. Both of those are 100% superwash merino with, you know, pretty decent twist. I do like the yarn. I don't know where the GarnStory company gets their yarn, but I do really like their yarn. I like the quality of their yarn. The last one, this is a merino single, it says, though it's a pretty high twisted single. So I didn't actually catch that it was a single when I was showing this on my Vlogmas, but it is really not in my repertoire of colors, though it's certainly a color I could wear. I think I've said before that my guy loves it when I wear yellow. He loves yellow on me for some reason. Am I a yellow person? Maybe I am. So this is a kind of fortuitous skein, and it is called Oxygene, like a blue jean. Oxygene. Yeah. And it's beautiful minty green mixed with a mellow yellow, like sort of a banana. I would call that banana because it's sort of a dirty yellow, with beautiful gold and green speckles and a little bit of black speckling, which, you know, if you're a returning viewer, you know I love my black speckles. So yeah, that was a nice surprise. I haven't got surprise skeins like that in a long time, so I just thought maybe, you know what, the reason why I got them though, because I know I said I'm not going to just willy-nilly collect anymore. You know, once in a while you have to let go. Once in a while you have to let go. Let go. The reason I got them was because when GarnStory does her surprise packages, she gives you a little bit of a discount on the 3 skeins because you're buying a package that you're not sure what you're going to get. And then further, if you're not in the EU, you get her prices all include VAT or VAT, which is a tax that you pay if you're in the EU. So if you are not in the EU and she ships it to you, you don't pay that. So the prices all drop down even more. So they really become very reasonably priced skeins, even with the shipping. That's why I did that. What else do I have to show you? A couple more things. And I'm going to save that for a minute. I want to show you one more yarn acquisition. Excuse the crinkling sound. So you guys know I really love Kristy Glass, and I love to watch her, and I love to talk with her when I see her at events. We don't live so far away from each other. But she is doing a 4-month knit along, maybe it's a 3-month knit along, starting January 1. And she has talked about it on her channel, where she's doing a birthday knit along. And the birthday knit along, it's for her in honor of her turning 40. In order to qualify for the, you know, to join the knit along, she was asking that we plan a sweater or a substantial garment, like a substantial shawl, out of Clinton Hill cashmere. So I'm gonna do a cashmere sweater. So this is my Clinton Hill cashmere. It is the Bespoke DK in the Onyx colorway, and this came today. It literally came today. And I also got this color. This is the color Light Sand. There you go. So on Kristy's channel, there is a code. Look for the one where she's with, I think the woman's name is Rebecca, who owns Clinton Hill. Look for the one where she's talking with Rebecca in November, right around Thanksgiving time. And they announce a code for you to get a discount in order to buy sweaters quantity. So that sort of takes a little bit of the bite out of the cost, out of the expense. So yeah, I'm gonna do a colorwork sweater. It's going to be mostly black. The colorwork sweater I'm gonna put on screen here. It's a pattern that I designed for Long Island Yarn and Farm. The pattern will be released in January, I believe. I believe that's the plan. She's planning to release it in time for Vogue Knitting Live in New York, where I will be a featured designer. I also just found that out about a week ago, so I'm so excited about that. She invited me to be a featured designer in her booth because I have both the colorwork sweater and a shawl design, both made out of her yarn. But I thought it would be fun to make that pattern, because that pattern that I made for Long Island Yarn and Farm, I knitted out of alpaca. So going back to the resiliency thing, alpaca not as resilient as wool, so I made a boxy cut sweater on purpose, and a cropped sweater too, a cropped cardigan. It's like it ends a little bit higher, probably about where the stripe is on Martha. Again, Martha's waist is here, so it ends about 3 inches below the waist. And so I thought cashmere has a similar drape and resiliency to alpaca, so I thought that would probably be a really nice pattern to make for this knit along. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm going to be knitting. I hope Tabitha's okay with that. I'm not selling that pattern. I'm just going to knit it myself after I already knit one. So yeah, I got this. So I got the sweaters quantity. I just got it today because, weirdly enough, and I hope this doesn't embarrass the Clinton Hill people, but I ordered the DK and I showed it on my vlog a few days ago. And it turned out it wasn't the DK, it was the worsted. I went to go swatch it because I was planning to make a swatch to show you all how this knits up, and I wanted to really get a feel for the hand and stuff, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough before they run out of the color, the dye lot that I'm making, that I got rather. I went to swatch it and I flipped open the tag and I was like, this doesn't sound like enough yardage. And I know I checked and double checked, and I ended up, like, when I did the math, it sounded like I needed about 6.5 skeins of the black and 1.5 of this, so I got 2 and 7, and that should have been plenty. But then I was looking at it going, this isn't making sense to me. So then I went on their website and I noticed that I got, I thought maybe I could see that I received worsted. So then I thought, okay, did I order worsted or did I order DK? So I looked and I saw I ordered DK and the packing slip said DK. So I emailed them and I got an email response within 5 minutes saying, we're so sorry and we don't know how that happened, and here we're shipping out a new order and we will send you a return label for the other yarn. So that was yesterday. I got this today. I got my right yarn today. Talk about service. Super excited. Now I can swatch and I can be ready for the Jan 1 cast on. That will be a fun New Year's Day thing to do. I'm super happy and excited about that. So that is the end of my yarn. That is the end of my yarn stash. I also splurged. I probably should have left this under the tree and wrapped and stuff, but I decided that's silly. I'm giving myself gifts, yes, but I'm not going to put it under the tree. Maybe I will. Actually, maybe I'll use this for my new cast on. Maybe I'll put that in here. But I got the new Jen Hewitt Fringe field bag. I absolutely adore Fringe Supply Company field bags. There you go. It's the tobacco base with the white print on it, and more commonly seen as white ground with black stripings. But I really love them. They're pretty decent size, so you can pretty much fit a sweater's quantity in there. And I do, though I never use the iron or the brass rings that are inside, I do like all the pockets and the functionality of that. And I just thought this was really cool. So yeah, little gift to myself. I was surprised it wasn't sold out, honestly, because I didn't get around to getting it for a while. And my last little bit of stash acquisitions that I got were some new Progress Keepers. Turn around, you. These are all from Sucre Miniature. And there you go. It's a little moon, and I don't know why the little ghosty keeps turning around, but it's a little like Christmas ghost. So kind of like the Christmas Carol Christmas ghost. It's a ghost holding a star. There we go. You can see that, right? I don't know why it keeps turning around. Sorry, guys. I think you got it, though. And then I got 4 other Progress Keepers just out of what she had. I got a lovely glass of wine there. And a blue frosted star. And this is a Halloween. This is supposed to be a cauldron bubbling over. Doesn't it look so cool? So I love that. And you know, wine. And then the other one is on the hat, which I neglected to show you. I took it off already because I realized that I needed a Progress Creeper on this hat. And it is a really cute little holiday gingerbread cookie, which I thought was adorable. So there you go. There you go. That's everything I got. And that's my talk about yarn, about my thoughts on non-superwash versus superwash. I think I've talked to a couple in-life friends about the same thing, and it seems like there's a lot of knitters that are kind of coming to similar conclusions. Because I mean, you can't beat superwash for its ease, for ease of washing and ease of, you know, just like care, ease of care. And if that makes a difference between whether you knit wool or acrylic, then hey, I would rather knit superwash than acrylic. And I'm not saying I don't like to knit it. I really love knitting it. It's just the wear. I'm more about the wear. And I love the colors. I love the brightness, because superwash takes colors really, really well. They can heat it more, is what, from what I understand from indie dyers, is that they can raise the temperature on the pots to higher temperatures if they're doing superwash versus non-superwash. So that's part of the reason why the colors are a little more intense. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm not saying never, no, I'm gonna de-stash all my superwash. That would just be nuts. That would just be nuts. And I do enjoy a good superwash. I have to say too, I have at least one sweater, I feel like there's more than one, that I knit out of 2 fingering weights held together to equal DK, and I'm not having the bagging problem and the lack of resiliency problem with those. So that might be another way around, like to make a thicker weight sweater, for me anyway. I mean, everyone, you all should make your own decisions and figure out what works for you. I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I haven't come to a full conclusion. These are just things that are sort of rolling around in my head. I am really enjoying the Jill Draper Make Stuff yarn that I'm using for one of my whips that you'll see next time, because I didn't make any progress, so there was no point in showing you. So I'll show you. I'll make more progress on it because it's DK weight and it should go fast. So I think that I'll really make a lot of progress on that. So I'm looking forward to sharing more of that. So I imagine, hopefully, I don't know if I'll have any finished objects by the next time I podcast, but I will certainly have a lot of progress on whips to show you. And who knows, I don't know what I'm getting for Christmas yet from friends and family, so maybe there'll be some yarny stuff in there that I can share with you. And anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas if you're celebrating Christmas, Happy whatever holiday you're celebrating. I don't want to, not trying to, yeah, Christmas is what I celebrate, so just putting it out there. And Happy New Year to everyone, and I hope everyone is having a really knitty, happy holiday week. And I will see you. Thank you so much for being here with me and spending some time with me out of your busy holiday schedule. And I will see you next time with more yarny, knitty goodness. Bye.